richness of time, we'll look at the Cold War in a more nuanced manner than we do now. The Cold War was not simply a standoff against a Soviet Union bent on world domination. It was also driven by a series of self-reinforcing misinterpretations of what the other side was up to. Berlin 1961's account of the miscommunication and misunderstandings between the United States and the Soviet Union at that crucial time makes one wonder whether we might have produced better outcomes if we had more clearly understood the domestic, economic, political, and other forces compelling our rivals' behavior. These are speculative questions no one can answer with any certainty. Yet raising them in the context of Berlin 1961 is as relevant to navigating the future as it is to understanding the past. In the pages that follow are clues and cautions that are particularly timely during the first term of another young and relatively inexperienced commander-in-chief, President Barack Obama, who, like Kennedy, came to the White House with a foreign policy agenda aimed at engaging our adversaries more skillfully and understanding more reliably what lurks beneath seemingly intractable conflicts in order that we can better solve them. I know something of such issues and challenges myself from our days dealing with Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev when I served as National Security Advisor in President George H.W. Bush's White House. The two U.S. presidents who dealt with Gorbachev, Bush and Ronald Reagan, were very different men. However, both understood that nothing was more important in trying to end the Cold War than the ways in which they engaged their Soviet counterpart. Despite labeling the Soviets the evil empire, President Reagan engaged in 5 summit meetings with Gorbachev and worked on countless concrete agreements that helped build confidence between the two countries. As the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, and we worked to bring about German unification, President Bush resisted all temptations to gloat or breastbeat. He consistently sent the message that both sides were winning if the Cold War was ending. Through exercising such moderation in his public statements, he also avoided giving Gorbachev's enemies in the Soviet Politburo any excuse to reverse his policies or remove him from office. One can do no more than speculate on how either a tougher or a more conciliatory Kennedy might have altered history in the Berlin of 1961. What is indisputable is that the events of that year put the Cold War back into a deep freeze at a time when Khrushchev's break with Stalinism might have presented us with the first possibilities of a thaw. Berlin 1961 walks us through those events in striking new ways, exploring the fundamental natures of the two primary countries, the U.S. and the Soviet Union, the domestic political environments of each, and the crucial roles played by the personal characters of their leaders, and then weaving it all into the equally important stories of how those factors played out in the countries of East Germany and West Germany themselves. It is an engaging, richly researched, thought-provoking book that captures the drama of the time in its colorful Berlin setting and challenges the conventional wisdom regarding one of the Cold War's most decisive years. Introduction. The World's Most Dangerous Place. Vladimir Lenin quoting Karl Marx, "Who possesses Berlin possesses Germany, and whoever controls Germany controls Europe." Premier Nikita Khrushchev to President John F. Kennedy at their Vienna summit, June 1961, "Berlin is the most dangerous place in the world. The USSR wants to perform an operation on this soft spot to eliminate this thorn, this ulcer." Checkpoint Charlie, Berlin, 9 p.m., Friday, October the 27th, 1961. There had not been a more perilous moment in the Cold War. Undaunted by the damp, dangerous night, Berliners gathered on the narrow side streets opening up onto Checkpoint Charlie. The next morning's newspapers would estimate their numbers at about 500.